It's really hard for me to talk about that without getting emotional. I was taken to, the depths of hell, because I kept saying, Lord, if this is you and this really is your kingdom, then why won't you bring all that to light?
Now, just so everyone's on the same page.
Sure.
Daystar is this global Christian television network founded by Marcus and Joni Lamb.
Right.
And they're known for like charismatic preaching and that emphasis on family values.
Right. Family values, which makes this whole thing even crazier.
I know, right?
It's shocking that he had this affair.
It is.
And then he went public about it. Not by apologizing or anything, but by saying he was being extorted.
Wow.
Yeah. He said 3 people threatened to expose the affair unless Daystar paid them $7.5 million.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money.
Yeah.
The couple says 3 people threatened to go public with the affair if the ministry didn't pay them $7.5 million.
Let's talk about the extortion first. Can you tell us when you were first approached and how you were approached? Did you get a phone call? Was it an email, a letter? How?
Well, a couple of weeks ago, the information came to us. They were trying to turn our pain into their gain. So we were both shocked and outraged that they would demand this much of God's money.
Actually remember Dr. Phil and this interview. I actually remember this time, because, it was kind of everywhere, a little bit, salacious, and people were blackmailing. Marcus and Joni were being blackmailed.
Well, and to even things being said about you professionally, there were jobs that I missed out on because, first of all, to have that you're an extorter, who wants to be, professionally attached to that? So,
yeah.
So did he ever say who these people were?
Well, that's the thing.
Okay.
He kind of avoids answering direct questions about it. He never gave clear details about who they were or how they approached him.
So it's like super vague.
Yeah, exactly.
It's suspicious.
And it gets even more suspicious when you find out that these extortionists,
What?
they were actually former Daystar employees who were suing the network.
What? So they sued him. That's a whole other layer to this story.
It is.
What did they even sue him for?
Well, the lawsuit makes some pretty serious accusations.
Okay.
Like they say that a female producer was fired for dating a male employee.
What?
But the male employee didn't face any consequences.
Oh, wow. So there's like a double standard there.
Totally a double standard. And it goes against everything Marcus Lamb was preaching about.
He had led her to believe that the identities and location of the 3 supposed extortionists were unknown and that a manhunt was underway. See, Marcus Lamb is making them think these 3 people are out there somewhere and they're trying to extort us. Nobody knows who they are, but we're going to find them. I called the law. I called the sheriff. I called the sheriff of Boone County, and he's coming down and he's going to. But that was a lie. He knew exactly who they were. He knew exactly who these individuals were and why they had gotten in contact. And it wasn't to extort. It was to have things made right after they had been wronged. He knew who they were, and he knew who their attorney was because the attorney had met with them on their premises.
Totally.
And his reason for not telling anyone about the affair sooner was to protect his children.
Okay.
But that doesn't really make sense when you think about the harm this work environment was causing.
Yeah, so maybe he just wanted to protect Daystar's image and money.
It's possible.
Yeah.
A scandal like this could have hurt their donations a lot.
Definitely. And Daystar relies on those donations.
Absolutely.
So where does Joni Lamb fit into all of this?
Right, Joni.
She was his wife and also a co-founder of Daystar.
Yeah, she was a big part of it all.
Could she really not have known about the affair?
For 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say for sure.
All right.
Some people might think she had to know something.
Yeah, I mean, she was so close to everything happening.
Right, she was his wife and co-founder of Daystar.
Exactly.
But maybe she chose to believe him.
Yeah, maybe.
Or maybe she stayed quiet to protect the ministry.
How'd you find out?
There was an individual that cared about me and cared about him that had some information where they believed that this could be going on, and they came to me and shared the information with me, and I confronted him the same day.
And you knew this woman?
Yes.
Why did you never come forward with this before this alleged extortion attempt?
Well, Joni and I wanted to have plenty of time to heal. We wanted to have a track record of living right and doing right. Plus, our children were young, and we wanted to spare them the pain of this until they could at least be old enough to be able to handle it better.
You were shown emails by an employee that was literally leaving, and in those emails had the evidence of this affair. And so not much more to say except that this was, you felt that you had to, in the kindest way, I have to tell you that if you were my employee and you found emails that my husband was having an affair and you reported it to me, I would be grateful.
Well, and the same thing happened to me, which is why it was so important for Joni to know, because I was quite frankly told by others to give it to Marcus and not say anything to Joni. And as a woman, that's not something, and as a believer in Christ, that's not something that I would have done. I was fortunate to have had somebody come to another woman one-on-one and told me about the infidelity that was occurring in my marriage, and I will forever be grateful to her because I had no clue. And so as another woman, I thought Joni needed to hear the truth and, had
That's
that
so
chance.
interesting that you had that experience. You actually felt, I'm guessing, totally sick for Joni, in empathy for her.
Yes. It broke my heart.
You had been through this.
Right.
So it's important for us, because I don't want you to say anything that you're not allowed to, but it's all here. It's all here in public record. So, but you were doing the kindest, most righteous thing to expose this, and in actuality, for the protection of Joni, to bring this to an end. You would think that she would be grateful for the rest of her life for what you've done. But it does appear, if I move forward, that you didn't leave at that point, but that you were being asked, and you stand by all your statements. So I'm just going to say you were being asked to sort of keep the facade going because Joni had a book that was coming out. And Joni didn't want the whole world knowing that Marcus has been having an affair. I mean, that could affect her book sales. Do you think I'm representing this right or wrong? Are you able to
No, you're representing it like spot on.
Yeah.
And then there's Doug Weiss.
Oh yeah, Joni's new husband. He said some pretty weird things about Marcus after he passed away.
Like what?
Well, he made a joke about taking everything from Marcus, including Joni.
Oh my gosh. Even if he was joking, that's not okay.
It is kind of insensitive.
Especially given everything that happened.
Right.
And then there's the comment about God not healing Marcus.
Oh yeah, that was a rough one.
So harsh, especially to say to his grieving family.
I know, it makes you wonder about Doug Weiss's leadership.
Yeah, what's he gonna do with Daystar?
This scandal affects way more than just these people's personal lives.
That does.
This is about people losing trust in a religious institution.
Right. So many people rely on Daystar.
Exactly. So what does this all mean for Daystar and its viewers?
Yeah, that's the big question.
To understand that, we need to look closer at how televangelism works and how scandals like this can affect them.
Okay, let's do it.
All right.
You know, it's interesting how Marcus Lamb said the extortion was about taking God's money.
Yeah, that was weird.
It's almost like he thinks it's his money to control.
Right.
Which makes those lavish spending allegations from the lawsuit even more concerning.
Right.
It makes you think how much of his cover-up was about protecting himself versus Daystar's money.
Exactly. It's hard to tell.
And it also brings up that whole conversation about how televangelism works with money.
Yeah.
It's all based on that seed faith model.
Right.
People donate hoping for blessings.
And that can be kind of risky for both sides.
Definitely.
The ministry needs that money to keep going.
Right.
But people might feel like they have to donate even if they can't really afford it.
Yeah, because they think it'll please God.
Exactly.
So maybe Joni staying silent was about protecting the employees' jobs, too.
That's a good point.
It's like she was trapped.
Yeah, if she spoke up, it could have ruined the ministry.
But staying quiet might have let this bad stuff continue.
Right.
Yeah. What happens when the people you trust turn out to be flawed?
It's a big deal.
It shows that religious leaders are just people.
Exactly.
We put them on these pedestals, but they mess up too.
This whole story really makes us rethink our expectations.
Yeah, we can't just blindly follow anyone.
Right, we have to think critically even about our faith.
Exactly, and hold our leaders accountable.
So what happens now to Daystar?
Yeah, what does Doug Weiss do?
Can they recover from this?
Will he be honest about the pain this caused?
Or will he just try to ignore it all?
His choices here will be really important.
Will he choose to be transparent?
Yeah, will he admit the truth even if it's hard?
Or will he just worry about Daystar's image and money?
And what about Joni?
Right.
What will she do?
She was there for everything?
Her perspective really matters.
Will she try to change Daystar?
Yeah, will she fight for more honesty and responsibility?
Will she speak up for the people who were hurt?
It'll be interesting to see what they do.
This story raises big questions about faith and leadership.
Yeah, and about human nature.
This scandal really shook Daystar.
It shows that even strong organizations can be hurt by their leaders' mistakes.
It makes us realize that power can be dangerous.
Especially when it's mixed with faith and money.
It makes you wonder, can you really separate the person from their work?
It's a tough question.
And we'll keep exploring it as we look at what happens next with Daystar.
Well, I think that about wraps up our deep dive into this messy story about Marcus Lamb and Daystar.
Yeah, this whole thing is a tangled mess of secrets and hypocrisy.
And it really makes you question who to trust.
And what it means to have faith.
We started with a lot of questions.
And we still have a lot of questions.
But sometimes the questions are more important than the answers.
They make us think harder.
And maybe that's the point of all this.
To make us more aware.
To be more careful.
And to be more understanding.
Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
It's been a wild ride.
We'll see you next time.